All right, guys, so the Democrats are in crisis mode right now because with 1 year to go, literally 1 year to go until midterms, Biden's poll numbers just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, okay? Honestly, it's just been a free fall since Afghanistan. I mean, it really has. Once the mainstream media actually started covering Biden fairly and telling the truth about his presidency, it's amazing how the American people wake up to what's actually going on. I mean, this is stuff that I've been talking about literally since the day the man got into office, right? But they have a crisis not just for 2022. They also have a crisis for 2024, as nearly half of voters say Biden is a worse president than expected. Most don't want to see him run again. Wow. I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised about that first part where nearly half of voters say that Biden is a worse president than expected. Because, I mean, the dude ran on Trump is so bad, right? Trump is terrible. Okay? Whether that comes to the virus, right? They try to blame the economy on him because of what happened with the virus, even though the economy was great before the virus. When it comes to, I don't know, other stuff, right, that they make up about Trump. So basically, Biden tried to set the bar really low for himself, right? He tried to set the bar really low because Trump is so bad. But now he gets into office, and I think a lot of voters are realizing, like, was this guy really better than Trump? Right? Was this guy really better than Trump? Right? I think a lot of people have had some serious buyer's remorse, and they truly don't want to see him run again. I mean, the dude is what? 78. Okay, he's gonna be in his 80s, right? He's already mentally lost. Okay, I just don't know if he's even gonna be capable of running again. So the Democrats have an issue, right? They have a big issue for 2024, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit here. But first, let's read here. With exactly 1 year until midterm elections, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Democrats in Congress face bleak ratings that indicate they could be in for a rout in 2022, according to a USA Today Suffolk University poll. The survey, which was taken after the Tuesday elections but before House Democrats passed the popular infrastructure bill Friday, shows Biden with nearly rock bottom approving ratings, Harris with numbers that are even worse, and Democrats trailing by a wide margin on the generic congressional ballot. Wow. So it looks like this party could potentially get wiped out come 2022, right? I mean, we talking House and Senate. And at that point, Biden's presidency is essentially done. And that's why you saw the Biden administration pick up in regards to passing a bipartisan infrastructure plan after the Virginia elections, because they realized that the writing's on the wall, right? If they're going to do something, they got to do something now, not later, right? They're not going to have time to wait till next year. They got to do something else. So that's why they went ahead and moved forward with this right after that VA election. Among the top line numbers, according to the USA Today, Suffolk University, are a 37.8 approval rating for Biden and a 59% disapproval, more than 21 points underwater. 46% of those included in the survey said Biden has done a worse job than expected, and 64% said they don't want to see Biden run for re-election. Yeah, so that's an issue. And, you know, the crazy thing about this, guys, is that, to me, Biden is doing everything that he shouldn't be doing in order to remedy the situation, right? I mean, we're talking about historic gas prices, and they don't seem to have a plan to remedy the issue.
Okay, and on what the Secretary General, what she was saying yesterday, what options besides tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve does the president have to counteract higher gas prices?
So, I've talked about this a couple of times. You know, we don't have an announcement yet on anything to share at this time. But we're monitoring it, right? We're monitoring the prices, and we're making sure that we have tools in our tool belt that we can try and use. But at this time, I don't have anything new to share.
In fact, it actually seems like Biden is dead set on trying to keep driving up the price of gas, as word on the street is that he's looking to shut down another pipeline, right? Historic gas prices. Biden says, let's shut down another pipeline. Also on top of that, when it came to inflation, right? Biden's like, hey, you know, we got a whole bunch of money that we just put in the economy. Let's actually put more money in the economy by spending another $1.75 trillion with his Build Back Better plan that they're currently trying to get passed in Congress. Again, makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. But at the very least, Biden is fighting racism, right? He's fighting racism. And if you don't believe me, according to Biden's transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, who just came back from 3 or 4 months of paternity leave, his bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to help us fight those racist bridges. Take a look.
As to where we target those dollars, you know, I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been in New York, was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose.
Yeah, so congratulations, folks. You got high inflation, you got a supply chain crisis, high gas prices, you have what's going on at the border. We lost Afghanistan, high crime. But hey, you know, we getting rid of those racist bridges and roads, right? I wonder if they count the Black Lives Matter Plaza in DC. I wonder if that counts as a racist bridge / road. I wonder, does that count? The world may never know. Meanwhile, the VP is not doing much better as Kamala Harris's approval rating falls to 28%, a historic low for any modern vice president. So yes, Kamala Harris is officially the most unpopular vice president in history, right? So much for affirmative action, right? So much for affirmative action. But let's actually read a little bit more about Kamala's rating here. A new poll from USA Today and Suffolk University released on Sunday contains a grim snapshot of political sentiment towards the Biden administration. President Joe Biden has been on a months-long slide towards historically poor polling numbers, but yesterday's USA Today Suffolk poll was even worse for Vice President Kamala Harris. Biden's approval rating hit a new low this time at 38%, but Harris has dropped to 28%. Wow, Harris got a 28% approval rating, bro. That is absolutely terrible. Terrible. A 51% majority of respondents said they disapprove of the job Harris is doing. At this early stage of a modern presidency, Harris's numbers in the USA Today Suffolk poll are unprecedented. The closest comparison, which involves slightly different methodology and margins of error, would be former Vice President Dick Cheney, the most unpopular U.S. vice president in polling history. He bottomed out at 30% in Gallup's tracking survey, but that wasn't until the end of former President George W. Bush's second term in 2007. Harris has taken on thorny assignments early in her tenure as VP, including running point on the administration's effort at handling the migration surge of asylum seekers at the southern border. All right, so yeah, they are right. Kamala has had some thorny assignments, but hey, at least she's taking on racism. At least she's fighting racism. And Kamala specifically is fighting the racist trees. Yes, I said that right. Kamala is fighting the racist trees. Take a look.
Climate adaptation strategies.
Can you measure trees? Part of that data that you're referring to, and it's in EJ, it's environmental justice, but you can also track by race. There are averages in terms of the number of trees in the neighborhood where people live.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Now, to be fair to Kamala, I think what she's trying to say is not that the trees themselves are racist per se, but I guess, I don't know, the location of trees in regards to where people live, right? So are these trees located near like black neighborhoods or white neighborhoods? Where the concentration at? And they're doing that in the name of environmental justice, right? To stop environmental racism. Okay, again, these people are obsessed with fighting racism, which again is, you know, why I think their poll numbers are so bad, because they are completely prioritizing the wrong thing, right? But you know, at the very least, Kamala is on her job as border czar, visiting the border.
Well, meantime, Vice President Kamala Harris today heading out to tackle the migrant crisis at the border, but not the American border. The Biden administration's czar, tapped to handle our nation's broken southern border, will instead be in France for 4 days of meetings with European leaders. While there, she will take part in a conference on Libya and ending the surge of migrants escaping the war-torn country and crossing into Europe illegally. This all comes as a new Suffolk University USA Today poll has the vice president dropping to a 28% approval rating, along with 51% disapproving. That is a record low for any vice president this early in the first term.
Yeah, so just another example of how the Biden/Harris administration's priorities are out of line. Now, again, this presents a huge problem for the Democrats come 2024 because, quite honestly, guys, I mean, do we know if Joe is really going to make it? We don't really know, right? I hope he does, but I'm just saying, I mean, dude, I mean, he just seems like he's on his last leg. I just don't know, right? I just don't know. But with that being said, I mean, since voters don't want him to run again, I mean, I think it will be impossible for him to win if things don't turn around pretty soon, right? Because, I mean, if the GOP takes back the House in 2022, it's over, right? So Biden can always cop out and say, well, I'm too old, right? I'm too old to run again. I'm just not going to run again and be done with it, right? He ain't going to take that L. However, if he does that, who's going to take his place? Because his replacement, Kamala, the immediately replacement, is more unpopular than he is, right? And she doesn't even do as much. She doesn't really do anything. And it's so hilarious to see this because Kamala is trying to distance herself from Biden, right? Remember, guys, I tell you this all the time. When the Biden-Harris administration first got in office, they told you straight up, this is Biden-Harris. This is both of us, right? If anything, they were trying to put Kamala out in front for a little bit. Now, a lot of that stuff has been reined back in, right? You don't really hear too much of that anymore. You don't really hear too much of Kamala talking about Joe or Joe talking about Kamala or any of that stuff. You just don't, right? What you see is that they're just kind of doing their own thing, and that's just kind of it. And again, I think that's on purpose because I think that Kamala at this point, I think during Afghanistan, she really realized this, is that Joe Biden is toxic, right? He's a sinking ship. However, she's attached at the hip to this sinking ship, and she's sinking along with them because she's just not likable and she's just not really doing her job, right? She's not really doing her job. And, you know, again, it's not like she's really had good assignments that she can really win on, but it's like, at the same time, she was never qualified in the first place. She simply got the job because of her skin color and her sex, right? That's why she got the job, because identity politics. And identity politics doesn't get the job done, unfortunately for her. Doesn't get the job done. And that is reflecting in the poll. She's not getting a mulligan because, you know, she's a woman of color. She's not getting a mulligan for that. She's not. And I guarantee you, the woke media's reaction to this is going to be, it must be racism, right? People must be racist. They don't want to see a black woman thrive, right? They don't want to see a black woman thrive, right? Those are the think pieces you're going to see instead of, should Kamala have been in office in the first place? Is she even qualified for the job? So, yeah, the Democrats have an issue on their hands come 2024 because I don't think their top two candidates, they can't beat anybody, right? There's some debate in conservative circles about whether or not they should run Trump or DeSantis. You know, and honestly, I'm looking like this. At this point, it doesn't matter, right? Joe and Kamala are so bad that they can run anybody, right? They can run Lindsey Graham, right? And he probably will win versus these two. So, Democrats got a problem. They're going to have to get somebody else. They're really going to have to run somebody else. And I thought Cuomo was going to be the guy until he got popped. And as far as I can tell, there's nobody, right? There's nobody relevant enough or even close enough to be a replacement for Biden or Kamala at this point. So, again, you know, here's the thing. It might get so bad that I wouldn't be surprised to see the Democrats run a primary, right? I mean, like, at this point, why not? Why not? At least they can say, look, it was those two. They was just terrible. We running other people. They may have to do that. We may see that. That's how bad this is. There's no way they can march out Joe or Kamala. I mean, whoever the Republicans march out, doesn't matter who it is going to beat them, right? If things continue the way it is. So, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.